Hello there, one and all, and thank you very much for tuning in to episode 575 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, live on YouTube. The final one, the third of three videos being broadcast today, but if you're watching the recording, that won't mean anything to you. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do consider doing so. Click on the little bell so that you get notifications about new videos. And if you would like to support my work, you should be able to see a link to my Ko-fi page and to my Substack in the video description below. Okay, I've taken up a lot of your time today, so let's get going with this. Alex is here saying, I'm sitting here in the middle of a thunderstorm. Hello to everyone. We had a thunderstorm earlier. It was really dramatic, just completely came out of nowhere. Dushan says, hello again. Xabi says, it seems tea is the word of the day. Yeah, you're right, actually. Ilias says, I tried both of them. Hi again. Okay, so let's get straight into this because I don't want to dwell on this one for too long. Bulgari's green tea, and now the full name of that perfume really stretches my inability to pronounce French vowels properly, because of course we are supposed to call it, what is it? Eau Parfumee or thé vert. So the green tea perfumed water. We don't need to go into the history of that. Very influential scent. Influential for the brand, influential for perfumery, influential for its perfumer. It came out in 1992, famously composed by Jean-Claude Ellena. Apparently he had been taking this tea idea around from one house to another and nobody wanted it, but Bulgari decided to take a chance on it, and they sort of did it as a client exclusive, and it was very successful. Then I think they kind of retrofitted a whole story onto it to say that he was inspired by a trip to Mariage Frère, etc. And that was in 1992, and it was an eau de cologne. The range did extremely well, and then we got a white tea, and we had a black tea, and we had a red tea, and we had a blue tea. I'm pretty sure that we did get to 5 teas. Some of them were better than others. The green one was the one that dominated all. A lot of people have said that basically the green tea one was like a kind of posh CK1, and that's actually very accurate. They're quite similar in their structure in that they had a big musky base. They were very translucent, in that kind of 90s way, you know, where a lot of heavy materials were presented with a kind of translucency. And even though they were quite striking and they were present, they weren't especially colourful. So it was almost like a kind of rather attractive wall of beige, which isn't really selling it, but it was attractive. CK1 is more than just a wall of beige, because CK1, I guess, was more youth oriented and really pushed the kind of the laser beams of the citrus notes a bit more. But for the posh version, for the kind of lifestyle version, you went to the green tea, which was like this kind of wall of beige. And I suppose it became a little bit of a victim of its own success, because it started going into the territory of perfumes for people who don't particularly like perfume, and it did become a kind of lifestyle scent. And if there's one word that, you know, really makes me run for the hills and start reaching for the sick bag, it's lifestyle. But a very important perfume, and it really made people sit up quite rightly and pay attention to Jean-Claude Ellena. Gavin says CK1 is like Hedione found its perfect bedfellows, super radiant nothingness. I loved it. I loved CK1. I wore CK1 to death. The red one was interesting, says Karen. EB says, I can't remember if I've said it here, but a few years ago I bought a gift set with a huge splash of green tea and branded golf balls and tea. It's a fabulous scent, but I prefer the L'Artisan Thé pour un été. Yeah, that was different. Anyway, then they kind of seemed to vanish, and I thought, oh dear, have they gone? But now they are back. Well, 2 of them are back. The green tea is back and the white tea is back. But now, sign of the times, they are no longer eau de cologne, they are now eau de toilette. So they are more concentrated. I guess they haven't gone all out and decided to make them as EDPs, because I suppose the jump from EDC to EDP may have been a bit big. Did Jean-Claude Ellena make them all originally, says Xabi? No, as far as I remember, but please don't hold this against me if I'm wrong. As far as I remember, he only made the green one. I'm pretty sure Jacques Cavallier made the white one, and I think he may have made the more recent ones. I'm pretty convinced he made black as well. What's interesting is that these two, the new green and the new white, the EDTs, are credited, both of them, to both the Jacques Cavallier and Yann Vasnier. So apparently Jean-Claude Elena has had nothing to do with the green one, but it's still Jacques Cavallier for the white one, joined by Yann Vasnier, which is interesting. And apparently they also, of course, now feature natural tea extracts. And you kind of think, is this Bulgari's way to kind of rebrand this particular range within their portfolio and make it almost like their kind of aqua allegorias? I don't know. They now also come with shower gels and body lotions, and they want it to again be a kind of lifestyle product. Which, okay, if that's what they've got to do, that's what they've got to do. I think the point is, though, that to my nose and to my memory, they absolutely 100%, both of them, pass for the originals. I never really owned the original green tea. I never wore it. I was sort of aware of it. I used to smell it in shops every now and then. But I would imagine, I mean, you know, if Ilias, you said you tried them. Did you know the original well enough to be able to compare? This, to me, does smell like the original, except that maybe it's a bit heavier on the musks, and maybe it's a little bit more floral and a bit more overtly citrusy. What are you folks saying? This is a perfect hotel scent, says Gavin. I mean, yeah, it absolutely has got that. And yes, the other thing as well is that it kind of became the smell of 1,000 spas and beauty salons, didn't it? It's like they all started copying this citrusy, musky kind of bergamoty tea-like signature. It just which showed how successful it was. I've got a vintage, says Vukasin. Let's compare. Okay, I'm not sure how we're going to compare, but let's try it. Vukasin says, this is interesting. You slipped money into Low Bulgari Cavalier to Hélène. Oh, well, maybe, I don't know. It is very, very, very definitely posh hotel scent. You would want a soap. I think you would want a soap that smells like this more than a shower gel, because you would want that luxuriousness of a soap. It is, to my mind, it is green tea. And we have got I've got a pre-sprayed one of this one as well. Where's my pre-sprayed thé vert? The Byredo of its day. Yeah, I think so. And I suppose it does last longer than it would have done in the past. But it's not over musky. It's not overdone. They've kept it very, very light. They've kept it very translucent. They've kept it very radiant. They've kept it very lifestyle. And the thé blanc, I do know very well, because, and I probably shouldn't admit to this, but the thé blanc for me, for many, many years, became the smell of all of our holidays. Not because I wore it, but because I used to use it as a room spray, which, you know, that's fine. That's not belittling the scent in any way at all. We can use perfumes in any way we see fit. But wherever we went, I would spray a little bit of thé blanc, and then, of course, afterwards, when we were back home, if I sprayed a bit of thé blanc, it would make us think that we were on holiday. And I just love the fact that it feels like just tiny, tiny, tiny little fragments of dust catching the sunlight. It's a kind of perfect sunlight scent. I don't get an especially prominent tea note. I never cared about that. But it would always, to me, feel like clean sheets and walking into a space that is very, very clean and very welcoming, and the sunlight is coming in through the blinds or through a gap in the curtains. And yes, I suppose in terms of its construction, it also is a fairly basic sort of citrus, gently floral musk. But this one, I have to say, the EDT completely convinces me that it is like the original. So that's good. That's thumbs up. Because I'd be sorry if it disappeared. I think for those sorts of very, very breezy, effortless, summery scents, this one is tough to beat. And actually, in a funny kind of way, it was always very, very Jean-Claude Elena, even though it wasn't made by Elena. Oh, what's this? Vukashin says, Bourdon said in an interview that thé vert probably has no more than 10 ingredients. Well, who knows? Probably. I don't know. But does it matter? Does it matter? And so, yes, thumbs up for these two. Maybe not so much thumbs up for the price, because of course they've decided to make them really, really expensive. But as I decided we were going to talk about these two, I thought I must give a shout out to one of the ones that I guess has been discontinued now. Maybe they will bring it back, because I thought this was genius. This is the original black tea, the thé noir, done by Jacques Cavallier. I just thought it was so clever, and I re-smelt it again just a couple of hours ago before this video. This is I'm pretty sure this was an EDC. I can't actually see what it says on the sticker now. But this was surprisingly, completely unexpectedly, and yet so convincingly, one of the best oud scents, believe it or not. I included it in my best of all time ouds, because it was like, it was almost like the challenge was to take an oud and make it into an oud cologne with a tea inflection, with a slight tea inflection. I mean, it's mostly oud. So it's kind of animalic, it's kind of carnal, it's very, very heated, it's very impassioned, and yet it has the lightness and the weightlessness of cologne, and it lasts forever. And I thought it was wonderful. An oud cologne is asking Tool. Yeah, it kind of is like an oud cologne, and it was genius. And I hope they bring it back in some way, because it was one of the most interesting, one of the cleverest, one of the most very easily wearable, accessible, and yet convincing ouds ever. Maudlin says that one is so nice, so sad it's discontinued. Maybe it'll come back. Who knows? I don't know. So there we are. Very, very quick one for the final one for today, just to let fans of these two know that they are back and they are in good shape. Okay, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and stay tuned to social media for information about more videos coming your way. We're nearly coming to the to the summer break, so I will try and get as many videos in there as possible. And I will, hang on, just let me line up the mouse there. So thanks very much for watching. See you soon. Bye now.